was this world called Draenor. It was this wild, primeval landscape populated by all manner of creatures, including, of course, the brown orcs of Draenor. We originally were thinking about this as a council of the clans, where you would have the different orc clans meet to elect their first war chief.
They would be forced to make a choice about, which way they were going to go. Would they side with these demon lords, or would they go their own way?
And then this mysterious cloaked figure would arrive, and he would punch out Black Hand, and he would maybe choke out Gul'dan and throw out the cloak and reveal himself to be Garrosh, this amazing orc from the future. And we were thinking, well, that's cool, but couldn't we be more expansive? Couldn't we find a way to make this bigger break out?
We kind of moved in completely away from the direction of where we were and reapproached it with this idea of being upon the throne of Kil'jaeden. All the clans were being brought here to basically give fealty to Gul'dan's poison.
So Gul'dan is able to get the different horde leaders to drink the blood of the demons, right? And that way they would become what was known as the Horde.
They were deceived by the Burning Legion when they made that blood pact, which turned their skin green and their eyes red. If only they had known, right, what the blood of Manaroth would actually do to them. But actually somebody does know. To get in there and really make skin look like real skin and sweat look like real sweat.
The thing about CG is you can run into the uncanny valley very quickly, right? But I think what we call hyper-realism is something that our fans really enjoy. We don't use a lot of motion capture, if at all any. And I think a lot of that is really to create a sense of fantasy. So another big challenge for us was Hellscream, and things that have changed from his first inception to this particular rendition of him was he's brown, right? We've only seen him with green skin. When we revisited him here, we knew that this was going to be before he had been corrupted. And so, talking to Chris Metzen, talking to Robinson, a lot of the ideas that were floating around the table was like, these guys are more Mongolian, a little bit more feral, more furs, a little bit more of the Conan sort of vibe.
We kind of abandoned the old orc and brought out the new and started focusing on what would this a lot grittier, a lot more tangible orc look like. And that's where we landed in. It's definitely by far the most scary orc we've ever done in cinematics.
The three orcs really needed to be very distinct, especially Grommash and Garrosh. You needed to really understand that they were different characters, but also little hints in there of the lineage, because they are father and son, whether they know it or not at this point.
Or as he sees it, and account for the lack of, physical strength that they would have had if they had drank the blood of Manaroth.
And as the expansion continues, that concept of the siege engine will start making its way into all of their weapons until, it is sort of the heart of their weapons technology.
And then from that conceptual platform, really looking at Grommash, right? Which way will he go? Is there a noble heart in there, and he could be a great hero and a great leader of his people, or is there just something broken in these Hellscream guys that, when pressed, become monstrous with or without demon blood flowing in their veins?
small effects this time, but make them very, very detailed.
Essentially, we always begin from the animatics, trying to figure out the overall destruction that they're interested in. Because usually this sort of thing has a very specific kind of cadence and timing, kind of hitting the beats. And the sort of things that if this was practical, you'd have a whole army of folks figuring out charges and when to detonate things. We pretty much do the exact same thing, only digitally.
What we used for reference for these actually was Monty Python's Flying Circus, where they're doing the bit with how not to be seen, you know? You see a bush there and then it goes off in a fireball. This just happened to be on my mind at the time. For the fire that's on the ground, we actually looked at a lot of reference and for the scale of the fires that we wanted, because fire looks very different at different scales and at different times of day and at different exposure settings for the camera.
Character, we always try to have the core shadow breaking up two of the tones. We don't want two tones touching each other.
The large-scale environments are the difficult ones because we're so used to seeing things that are in reality outside. So our eye is really quick and our brain really picks up what is fake and what is real. So a lot of elements have to be created to push the realism of it and to get that believability in the shot. And we knew early on that the dark portal had to feel absolutely massive. And everything else had to support the hero character, which is the dark portal. So everything had to drive that idea. We lit the shot mostly dark, and until the portal is revealed, we have that nice dramatic lighting to push the idea of the dark portal.